Hello everyone. Justin Crumley here, back again with another edition of CuJo's Corner. This is my little corner of the world where I talk about sports and probably a bunch of other things still. Yeah, you guys listen and throw your thoughts, your opinions in the comment section below. So this is going to be a long one. I'm looking through my notes now. I got a lot to talk about with you guys. A lot of big things in the sports world are happening, and yeah, we're going to talk about it. But before we get into that, um, I want to ask you guys, how you all doing out there? Are you doing okay? I hope so. Go grab something to eat. Go grab a drink. Let's get talking. So, first things first, let's talk college football. Because who the hell doesn't want to talk about college football? I know I do. Specifically, we're going to talk about the Big Ten championship. And I'm going to make a little more progress on that crow that I'm eating at the moment. um, so the Big Ten championship happened last Saturday night. Michigan absolutely demolished Iowa, 42-3. I kind of thought that would happen. I mean, not that I thought that Michigan would absolutely stomp Iowa the way they did, but I think a lot of people had Michigan winning this game. I think we all kind of just knew that they were going to win. I didn't want to overlook Iowa only because I don't like to overlook opponents, but nonetheless, I think a lot of people had Michigan winning this game, and yeah, they more than did that. So let's kind of break this down a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about the game itself. So obviously, I think a lot of us have heard. First thing I want to point out, um, uh, I know by now everyone has heard about the tragedy that took place in Oxford. And this actually happened in my home state of Michigan. It actually happened about 20 miles from where I work, so a little bit close to home, literally. And I mentioned this first of all. I know I already said it in my creepypasta reading, but I'll say it again. My condolences and my sympathies go out to the victims, the families' victims, and just yeah, this tragedy was absolutely horrible. But I only mention it because Michigan decided to name one of the victims Tate Meir, I think his name was. I've heard Tate Meir, Tate Meyer. I apologize for mispronouncing it either way. But they named his family and I believe his coach too as like honorary captains. Michigan wore special patches to pay tribute to the victims. It was just it was nice to see. In the wake of such a horrendous tragedy, there's just something about football, and I think it being college football really just kind of made it more special. But there's just something about sports. It kind of brings, I feel like it brings communities together. It brings us all together in the wake of a tragedy. And something else I kind of want to point out was it was really cool. The patches, they had the number 42 on it for for Tate Meyer. And Michigan put up 42 points. That was kind of neat. Um, I don't think that was. I don't know if they did that on purpose or anything, but nonetheless, it was pretty cool. But um, yeah, I'm flying all over the place. I'm sorry, guys. So yeah, what I kind of want to say about that was that it was it was heartwarming to see Michigan honor the family in the wake of this tragedy, and that's where I'm gonna leave it there. Once again, my thoughts and condolences go to the families of the victims, and I do hope we see justice in this case. Um, so let's just get back to the game itself. Move on to something. Move back into more positive stuff. I know that got a little deep. I apologize, but so Michigan, they win their first Big Ten title since 2004. I almost said the '04 season, but I think it was like '03, '04, something like that. I don't know, but it's since '04. And I actually remember being a little kid and watching them win that title. They actually went on to get stomped in the Rose Bowl by USC, but whatever. I mean, shit, they won the Big Ten. It was cool. It was just a really awesome moment to see Aiden Hutchinson, Hassan Haskins, Cade McNamara all on the field together. Um, After the game, talking about how this team's culture has changed, and I mean, you guys have heard it myself. I'm eating some crows on what I said about Harbaugh. You guys have definitely made it a point to make sure that I eat those crows. But hey, you know what? It's fine. And hey, look, I couldn't be fucking happier with being wrong. I've said it once, I'll say it again. I am so happy to be wrong about this. I enjoy where Michigan ended up. They did end up being number two in the rankings, which I'll get to that in a minute. I have a little bit more to say about the Big Ten championship itself. So yeah, this is the first Big Ten title in 17 years. It's huge. And honestly, when it first happened, the only thing I could think is, holy shit, dude, pinch me, I'm dreaming. This can't be real. You guys heard it. I had this team over and done with after they lost to Michigan State. I really did. I'll say it once. I've said it once. I'll say it again. Hell, I've even said it on the podcast. I was wrong about it, and I'm happy. So to get more into it, Cade McNamara, he went 16 for 24, 169 yards. He did have a touchdown, and he had an interception that he threw relatively early in the game. It was actually on Michigan's opening drive, so this game actually went similar to the Ohio State game. Cade McNamara threw a pick, defense comes out, does what they got to do, so on and so forth. Hassan Haskins, who I believe was like sitting the bench for well, he wasn't sitting the bench, but like he didn't play the first half. Or he maybe he did. And I didn't see him a whole lot in the first half. But anyway, Haskins ran for only 56 yards on 17 carries. He had 2 touchdowns though, so he definitely made a mark. And he actually set a single season rushing record for the school. So Hassan Haskins definitely made his mark for this year. Probably the offensive MVP. I would say yes. Blake Corum rushed the ball 5 times for 74 yards and a touchdown. He actually had one big breakout run where I was at work earlier, and I was talking to a coworker of mine, and we were watching the replay on TV, and it's something I noticed was J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy was actually in on the play, and he ran up there and threw a pretty decent block for Blake Corum. So that was just cool to see. I love seeing quarterback get a little bit involved with the run game. Blake Corum is, I mean, from this point on, Hassan Haskins might go to the draft. We're in good hands with Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum. I mean, I think we're okay. Roman Wilson, I also want to mention, he had 2 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown. Roman Wilson was a guy that I didn't know anything about. Like Cornelius Johnson, like I knew of by name, like I had heard his name before. He had played, so I was kind of familiar with him. Obviously, Ronnie Bell, Ronnie Bell went down. So to see a guy like Roman Wilson just kind of rise up from the ashes like a phoenix, I really like to see it. It makes me really hopeful for this team going forward. They got some good talent. They got some really good talent. It's going to be interesting to see who is the quarterback, but, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. The defense, let's talk about the defense. Defense had an absolute field day. They only gave up 279 total yards. Didn't give up a touchdown. Only one field goal. I don't know how many red zone trips Iowa had, but yeah, no touchdowns surrendered. They only gave Iowa 3. Defense had an absolute, like I said, they had a field day. By the way, the breakdown of the yards, they only gave up 175 passing yards and 104 rushing. So yeah, very much bend no break, no touchdown surrendered, only a field goal, very much bend or break. Guys, at no point in this game was Iowa the better football team. Not one. I'm not even going to say, well, but maybe that interception. Nope. Nope. Because maybe I could make an argument for Michigan being the better team. Michigan was the better team that entire game. This was absolute domination. We might, guys, I was watching that game and I'm like, damn, man, I might have to call 911. I'm witnessing murder on TV. Not really, but you guys know what I mean. It was insane. This game, this was like classic. This is what Michigan football was supposed to be under Jim Harbaugh. This is absolute domination. It makes me very, very hopeful for this team's future. I am singing a different tune at this point about Harbaugh. Right now, I think he's our guy. Let's see what he does next year, because let's just hope this ain't a pipe dream. Let's hope he can keep it together and come back maybe even better next year. And yeah, let's just get this going. I'd love to see Harbaugh getting us into contention. I think my expectation for Harbaugh going forward is for him to have us. I'm probably just going to keep it what I've always kept it. A Big Ten championship, victories over Ohio State and Michigan State, and a playoff appearance. I feel like that's fair. Those are fair credentials. I don't want to quite say like, oh, you got to win a national championship. Because not that I don't expect him to win a natty. It's just like, I don't feel like it's right to be like, win a natty or you're fired. You guys know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I don't know. But I just think from this point on, I'm going to hold Harbaugh to that kind of standard. I'm not going to let up. And yeah, I expect him going forward to keep us in contention for the Big Ten. It's also going to be interesting to see what he does with his contract situation. I know him and his wife agreed to give all their bonus money to employees in the athletic department, which is pretty cool. I mean, that goes without saying. It's nice. But it is going to be interesting to see if he comes to Ward Manuel's office and asks for a raise, or because I do think he could probably get a raise, but who knows? We'll see going forward. I think that's definitely a situation that could probably pay a little bit of attention to. So, yeah, speaking of Harbaugh, I guess I'm gonna end it on this, not the podcast, but the eating of the crow. Harbaugh proved me wrong. It is official. I know I've said it so many times already, but I'll say it, one more time. He proved me wrong. He finally scratches a major itch. Now, I got to be honest, while I keep saying, he proved me wrong, I think there were a lot of people that were ready to, I think it's fair to, you know what, I'm not even going to pose the question. There were a lot of Michigan fans that felt the way I did. I can tell you, because I have talked to plenty of Michigan fans, there were a lot of Michigan fans that were ready to give up on this guy. Yeah, he finally proved us all wrong. He went out there, he picked himself up after the Michigan State game, and I do want to quickly mention that game before I talk about their position in the college football playoffs. But sorry, my laptop went black for a second. So there we go. Okay. So yeah, Harbaugh, he picked things up after they lost to Michigan State. He went out there, he beat Penn State, he beat Ohio State, he won the Big Ten, and now they're going to the playoffs. Guys, at this point, I don't care what they do. I mean, I want them to go all the way and win, obviously, but if if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to jump on here and rant. I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to get angry and say, Harbaugh's a failure. He should be fired up. Screw Harbaugh. I'm not going to do that. Because screw it, man. Everything at this point is like a dreamland, This is where we've always wanted to be. We've always wanted to take a seat with the big boys, and now here we are. And like I said, now Harbaugh just has to build on it. But for now, I'm enjoying the ride. So, I want to talk about the Michigan State game. It was weeks ago. I know. Michigan, it's their only loss of the season. We all know what happened. I'm not here to retroactively go over the stats or anything. I'm not going to give my thoughts, my opinions, or anything. I still remember what happened in that game. So, the reason I bring it up is I think that loss is really what changed everything for Michigan this year. I mean, think about it. Their backs were against the wall. Everybody, including myself, were giving up right there and then. A lot of people were. There were a number of people who were saying, no, we got to stick to Harbaugh. We got to stick to him. Okay, well, hey, they can all take a victory lap. They were right. But I want to talk more about the Michigan State game. Because I do think it changed the season. It changed the tone. It brought new life to Michigan football. I really do. Or at least it can. Because think about this, guys. Michigan was always very arrogant, very full of themselves, very, you got guys in the NFL who went to Michigan, trash-talking Sparty during rivalry week, basically giving them bulletin board material, all that stuff. And what did Michigan State do? They went out and won. It kind of, you kind of got the feeling that Michigan was going out there with this unearned bravado, with this unearned confidence, this cockiness, this, oh, we're so great, and oh, big deal, we lost to Sparty, who cares, they're below us. When, you look at reality, you wake up for a second, you look at reality, and the reality is, over the last 20 years, Michigan State has dominated that rivalry. And I think when they lost to Michigan State this year, I think it was a wake-up call. I really do. I think Harbaugh's ass got even hotter on that seat. I mean, literally one of the games this year, his pants caught on fire. So, if that's not the ultimate form of irony, I don't know what is. But anyway, he's sitting on the hot seat. And he loses that game. His ass was pretty hot after that fucking game. And he knew it. He knew it. Then you look at the Penn State game. That's a game that a Harbaugh team would normally lay down and lose. But they didn't. They won. Ohio State, I don't need to say much. They kicked Ohio State's ass. They broke their foot off in Ohio State's ass and put a bullet in the back of their head. Ohio State came out with some unearned confidence. Well, I don't know if I'd say unearned, but they came out with obviously not taking Michigan serious. Obviously, they came in with this is a joke. Michigan's so below us. Yeah, they think they're all hot, but it's going to end the same way it does every year with us, the superior Buckeyes, beating the living crap out of them in front of their own home stadium. Oh, it'll be so tremendous. Well, that didn't happen. Guys, I'm telling you right now, that game, Michigan State game, the fact that they lost, this is going to be a little ironic, but this is going to sound stupid, but that's what I meant to say, not ironic. This is going to sound stupid, but just bear with me. But that loss to Michigan State, in a way, kind of saved their season. And I say that for all the reasons I just gave. It put Harbaugh's back against the wall, and he knew the fan base was at their wits' end for the most part. And he knew that, okay, well, I can, And I mean, he did bitch about the loss. I'm not going to act like he owned up to it right away. But starting at the Penn State game and moving forward from that point on, he did exactly what he needed to do. He picked himself up and he moved on. And now he's got a Big Ten championship sitting in his trophy case. And no one can take that from him. No matter what, going forward, it's there. We're the 2021 Big Ten champs, and that's all there is to it. And I love it. So, let's talk about their spot in the college football playoffs. Now, obviously, we knew they were going to get in. It was just a matter of, are they going to be number one or are they going to be number two? And to be honest, I guess I just didn't understand why everyone thought that there was a chance that they would be number one. I mean, Alabama beat the number one team in the nation. Not only did they beat them, they kind of dominated. They absolutely dominated Georgia in that game. So much so that Georgia is number 3, and that's who we're playing in the college football playoffs, or at least the first round. Capital One Orange Bowl, December 31st. I believe it's at 7 p.m. So got about I don't want to say a month, but about 3 weeks. So first thing I want to note is Georgia. I'm going to check the line, but I do know that they were favored in the game. I don't have the stats on me right now. I'm gonna keep talking as I pull them up. Here we go. Bowls. So yeah, Georgia is 7.5 point favorites as of right now. I've heard a lot of people say Georgia's going to win this game, and I mean, look, I'm not here to say that it won't happen. I'm not here to say, like, no way, this is why I think Michigan will win. Look, I'm just going to say this. No one seems to be giving Michigan much of a shot, and if they somehow get by Georgia, some people are saying, ooh, no one's going to beat Alabama. Like, I was driving home from work, and Jim Rome actually had mentioned the college football playoffs. And he basically just said, it's Nick Saban and 3 other teams. It's the Nick Saban Invitational. So, guys, think about it like this. No one has Michigan going anywhere past the first round. No one. Vegas has Georgia beating us. And an idiot on the radio, Jim Rome, He doesn't have us going anywhere. No one seems to be giving Michigan much of a shot. I love it. I love being in that position. I love it when you're the underdog, when everyone is sleeping on you, because there is no better position to be in. I mean, yeah, you want to be at the top, but when you're the underdog, you're playing with a chip on your shoulder. And that's what Michigan's been doing. And I think that's the kind of attitude that Michigan needs to adopt from this point on. Certainly for this playoff run, they need to go in with the mindset of no one's got us going anywhere. Everyone thinks we're going to lose. We're going to go out here and prove everyone wrong. Guys, that's the attitude. But this time, it's real. Because this time, the media is not jumping in there to give you positive coverage for the sake of positive coverage. No one has you beating Georgia. You are the underdog. Now, I know that's a position that Michigan as a whole might not be used to being in, but that's the reality. No one thinks we're going to beat Georgia? Fine. No one thinks we have a shot at Alabama if they beat Cincinnati? Fine. The only team I see us being favored against would be Cincinnati. And if Cincinnati somehow finds a way to beat Alabama, I don't know. I'd be kind of afraid to play Cincinnati at that point. um, but it's as I said, Michigan. I'm not going to say much about. I'm not going to cover the game. I have no coverage to give. I'm not going to give any further thoughts or what I think is going to happen. All I'm going to say is that Michigan is going in as an underdog, even though they're the number 2 team in the nation, and I love it. So, sticking with college football, let's talk about the Heisman finalists. Well, I want to talk about one in particular. Aiden Hutchinson is a Heisman finalist. Now, I got to be honest. I was actually kind of shocked by that. I didn't think he would. Um, that he would be a finalist. Not that I don't think it. Not that I don't think he deserves it. I was just. It was a little surprising. I didn't think he would make the cut. But I've heard some people say that Will Anderson should have made it in. And to be honest, after looking at his numbers, it's easy to see why people are saying that. I'm not gonna make an argument. I'm not gonna argue for. I'm not gonna make an argument for either guy. I'm, much like Michigan in the college football playoffs. I'm just gonna enjoy the fact that Aiden Hutchinson been has made the cut. Michigan sending a guy to New York. That's pretty cool. Um, I don't expect them to win it. I think Alabama's quarterback Bryce Young. He seems to be the odds-on favorite, so it'll probably be him. Um, but there's a guy who, in my opinion, got snubbed. I know I mentioned Will Anderson. I don't know enough about Will Anderson or his numbers to really make a case. But there's one more guy that is also, a lot of people have said this too, and it's Kenneth Walker the third. Kenneth Walker the third, in my opinion, got snubbed, and I agree with everyone who says he did. Guys, you heard me. I went over his numbers. He had this. His numbers were very similar to Mark Ingram, the year that Mark Ingram won the Heisman. So, uh, would I have expected Kenneth Walker to win the Heisman this year? No, but I do think he should have been a finalist, and I think a lot of Sparties have, they kind of have a leg to stand on when they say that their guy got ripped off, because I think he did. I think he's the best running back in the country. He's certainly chewed up Michigan. And, I know a lot of people are probably going to bring up his Ohio State numbers, but you know what? Doesn't matter. He was injured in that game. And also, look what he did against Michigan. I mean, if you're going to play that game, you look at his whole season and take your pick. He had so many dominating games, so many dominating performances. He was the best running back in the country this year. I think he should have been a finalist. Um, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna make any arguments for like, oh, this guy shouldn't have made it or that guy shouldn't have made it. And like I said about Aiden Hutchinson, I don't expect him to win it. I think it'll be Bryce Young, but it is just cool to say that we had a Heisman finalist on our team. Aiden Hutchinson's also projected to be to be like the first pick overall. Him or Kayvon Thibodeau. It's one of them two. So yeah, that's pretty cool. If Aiden Hutchinson were to go number 1 overall, that'd be sick. Um, Speaking of the NFL or the draft, that is a perfect segue into the next topic. So the New England Patriots beat the Buffalo Bills this past Monday night by a score of 14-10. And this is going to be an interesting game to talk about. So, the Pats ran the ball for nearly the entire game. due to very heavy winds. And I had heard like earlier in the day that winds were going to be a factor in this game. I didn't know how much. And I was watching the Manning cast, and Peyton Manning was actually making jokes about how much times the Pats were running the ball. And, I know Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels, for the most part, do kind of have a run-first kind of offense. But I was like, dude, what the hell? Are they just going to run the ball the whole night? Like, what is this? But I didn't realize just how bad, like, the wind was until I saw, like, a few punts get, like, jerked through the air. And, yeah, I saw the Bills trying to attempt some passes and having trouble with it. So the heavy wind was a absolute factor in this game, and the Pats ran the ball. I would say for like literally the entire game. Mac Jones only attempted 3 passes this whole game, which I'll get to in a second. I want to talk about the run game. Damian Harris went 10 for 111 yards, scored the team's only touchdown, and Ramondre Stevenson rushed for 78 yards on 24 attempts. Brandon Bolden for 28 yards on 4 attempts. So the running back, Kira really put in a lot of work tonight. As I said, they ran the ball, what was the number? Like 46 times? Yeah, 46 times. So they ran 49 plays. 46 of them were runs, and only 3 of them were passes. So, and they still won. I mean, that's what's so mind-blowing about all this. And now we're hearing discussions about Bill Belichick being possibly the coach of the year, which blows my mind because it's been a long time since Bill Belichick has been inserted into that conversation. I think for the most part, Belichick just was always expected. The Pats were always expected to be good under Belichick and Brady. The one year he doesn't have Brady, he puts Cam Newton in. They go 7-9. Fast forward a year later, they're already better than they were last year. They're 9-4. They're sitting pretty, number 1 seed in the AFC, number 1 in the AFC East. They're in the driver's seat. And this game was just, I mean, I don't want to say, like, dominance, but, like, I can't think of another word. Yeah, the score was only a 4-point margin, but they suffocated the Buffalo Bills. Guys, they ran the ball the whole game. That's all they did. They literally imposed their will, and that was enough. They walked up into the Bills' place and just said, "We're back." And they shoved it down their throat. It was awesome. If you're a Pats fan, I don't know how, not that there are. I don't think there are any. In fact, I'm going to confidently say no Pats fan shouldn't have loved that. I mean, it's a great time to be a Pats fan right now. It really is. You walk into Buffalo. You play the Bills, a team who had Super Bowl aspirations this year. The Buffalo Bills, guys, a lot of people had them taking the AFC East. New England just walked up in there and basically just laughed in their face and said, "Yeah, no. You kept the seat warm for us, but now we're taking it back." So, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think that was a statement win. It was a hell of a win. It was a hell of a game. And I want to give a little bit more love to the defense because the defense had a hell of a showing. They gave up 230 total yards, 131 passing, 99 rush yards, and only 1 touchdown. They also had a forced fumble and fumble recovery. Yeah, like I said, they only much like Michigan, bend not break. So, very strong showing for the Pats this game. both offensively and defensively. Not a very high-scoring game, but I think, and this is the question. This is a question I want to pose to everybody. Is it fair to say that the New England Patriots are the best team in the AFC right now? You guys think that's a fair claim? Let me make my case, because I do think that's fair to say. This team started 2-4. They now have won 7 games in a row. It's as I mentioned earlier. They now lead by a whole game in the AFC East, and they are, as it stands right now, the number 1 seed in the AFC. They went from 2-4 to 9-4. And they're playing some good ball. They got a damn good defense. Their offense, I mean, look, when you look at Mac Jones' numbers, they're good. But he's not lighting up the scoreboard or anything. He's not going out there and doing things that like Patrick Mahomes was doing or Aaron Rodgers is doing. He isn't going out there and doing all this spectacular, mumbo like, ha-ha, huzzah, let me pull a rabbit out of my hat kind of stuff. He's not going out there and being a magician. He's going out there and literally doing the bare minimum. He's not turning the ball over. He's not making mistakes. He's moving it pretty consistently. He's getting it around to guys. And he's winning games. And now that he, look, when they lost to the Saints, they got pummeled by the Saints earlier this year, the only thing I could think was, all right, that's fine. It happens. And the only thing I could think as far as Mac Jones goes is, okay, rookie, welcome to the NFL. You just got punched in the mouth. You know what the NFL's about? It's about how you respond. It ain't like college where it's like, oh yeah, we lost, but we're Alabama, so we're just automatically going to be great. No. This is the professionals. This is the real deal. You're going to get punched in the mouth. At least one game, 2 games, maybe 3. You're going to get punched in the mouth. It's going to happen. The NFL, what separates the good from the great is how they respond after. And Mac Jones has went out there and proven that not only is he the best rookie of all the rookie quarterbacks, rookie quarterback of all the rookie quarterbacks playing right now, he's making an honest case for Rookie of the Year. And it's like I said, it's not like he's lighting it up. He's not doing what Patrick Mahomes was doing, or is doing. I don't know about it, but anyway, you guys know what I mean. He's not doing what Aaron Rodgers is doing. He's not going out there and doing anything special. He's just going out there and doing the bare minimum. And it's working. The Patriots are winning. Guys, this team looks exactly like they did 20 years ago, the 2001-2002 season. And I hope it has the same result. So, I will ask you all again. Is it fair to say the New England Patriots are the best team in the AFC? Alright, so moving on to the next topic. This one is... I honestly don't know what to say about it. This one, I guess sad. I guess this one's just sad. So the NFL suspended Antonio Brown, Mike Edwards, and John Franklin III. These are all guys that play for the Buccaneers. I think John Franklin got released. I think he's a free agent, technically. But they all got suspended for 3 games without pay. I know, I'm sure everybody's heard by now the reason why. But in case you haven't, basically, these guys had fake vaccination cards. They lied to the NFL about their vaccination status. They got 3 games, and now there's even talk that the Buccaneers might cut Antonio Brown over this, which, yeah, What else can you say about this guy anymore? Antonio Brown, this dude, it's such a shame. He had such a promising NFL career, and I mean, just I guess the best way I could put it is this guy's basically like a slow motion train wreck. Like honestly, this did I say this was sad? This is honestly this is hilarious at this point. I mean, no, it's not hilarious. This is serious. When you get down to it, so each of them got 3 games without pay. I think they all deserved it. Actually, I'll take it even further. I think they all should have got 4 games myself. I think you should get about a quarter of the season, which would be about 4 games. So, yeah, I would have actually given them 4 games myself because that is a big deal. You can't be lying about your vaccination status, whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. I'm not going to go into that debate. I'm not here to put the politics into it. My point is you can't lie about it. These guys, you know, it's just ridiculous at this point. And like I said, a guy like Antonio Brown, it's just like, dude, I don't know whether to laugh or just shake my head. I mean, this dude's he's just dumb. There's no way around it. He does dumb things. He gets himself in trouble. How the hell this guy still has a job in the NFL is beyond me. And to be quite honest with you, I don't think even Tom Brady can save him at this point. Like, this guy's a liability at this point. I think the Bucs would be better off cutting him. So, there is another part of this debate, though, and I do want to kind of get into that. So, a lot of people are comparing this to Aaron Rodgers' situation. He was hit with a roughly $15,000 fine for that whole scandal, that drama. I don't want to say scandal, but you guys know what I mean. That drama. And if you guys remember, I took a pretty hard stance on that. And I stand by what I said. And I know the biggest difference between the two is that technically the Packers and NFL knew that Aaron Rodgers wasn't vaccinated. Aaron Rodgers, I guess his beef was the fact that they wanted to the NFL wanted to list him as unvaccinated, and he took issue with that. But whatever. I'm not going to trudge up that can of worms. So, yeah, one could argue that, like, oh, the situations are different. But do you guys see something here? I think it's pretty obvious at this point. I don't think what I'm about to say is controversial at all, or at least it shouldn't be. Aaron Rodgers is the NFL's golden boy. This guy can do no wrong. One could say, oh, but Aaron Rodgers gets the NFL so much clout. He does all those stupid State Farm commercials. Look, at the end of the day, I really don't care. I don't really like Aaron Rodgers anymore. I'm kind of tired of the guy. Whenever, to be honest, I skip Pat McAfee on Tuesday because I just tend to skip those interviews. I don't. That's just where I stand with this. I'm not saying everybody else has to, but I think this whole situation kind of just proves that the NFL will cover for Aaron Rodgers if it means they can bend the rules for him and he doesn't have to retire or, feel discomforted at all. And honestly, it's pathetic. I don't think any one player should be above the game. And the NFL is essentially saying, oh, yeah, sure, fine. Aaron Rodgers will hold you to a different standard. Now, okay, one could say, Antonio Brown's got a past history. Fine. But I think the severity of the situation is the same. And technically, while Aaron Rodgers didn't lie to the NFL per se, he did lie to the media. He did lie to all of us, or at the very least, misrepresented his vaccination status, if you want to get technical. Guys, at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is getting preferential treatment over other players in the NFL. And I think it's obvious. Don't try to hand me nothing about Tom Brady. Tom Brady got suspended 4 games for it's more probable than not that Tom Brady knew about the deflated footballs. So don't hand me nothing about Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers is the NFL's golden boy, and that's that. Now again, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that these players, the Buccaneers players, Brown, Edwards, Franklin III, that they shouldn't have been suspended. But I'm not saying that. Don't get it twisted. They all should have got suspended. And in fact, I don't think the NFL went far enough. I think they should have got 4 games. Just like I think Aaron Rodgers, same thing. The NFL shouldn't have let him get away with what he did, and he should have been suspended 4 games. Because I don't think the NFL's taking the situation that serious. So that's where I'm going to end it. I'm not going to have any debates in the comment section on where you stand as far as, the vaccine or whatnot. I'm just going to say that I think the NFL favors Aaron Rodgers, they kiss his ass, and the proof is in the pudding. That's all I'm saying. And on that note, I'd like to move on to the MLB. Because the Detroit Tigers, I said that weird. The Detroit Tigers did something sometime last week. They finally signed a shortstop. They signed Javier Baez to a 6-year, $140 million contract. He has an opt-out clause after 2023. So, yeah, another one of those deals, kind of like that pitcher that they just signed, whose name escapes me at the moment. Guys, feel free to correct me in the comment section on that. So, yeah, I'm just going to, I'm just going to get into it. I'm not a huge fan of this signing myself. Javier Baez last year led the NL in strikeouts with 184. That's not good. I also just think in my opinion, there were 2 better options out there that they could have signed. One of them being Carlos Correa. Now I know it would have been, the upper 300 million, probably for 10 years range. They're paying Javier Baez about 21 million a year. So roughly 10 to 15 million more a year. But I think you would have been getting a better player in Carlos Correa. Or look, let's be real. They didn't want to go with Carlos Correa, and I have heard that they didn't want to spend anywhere from the upper $300 million range, even though they could have. They had the pockets for it. But if they really wanted to penny pinch, another guy they could have signed that would have been better, in my opinion, than Javier Baez would be Trevor Story. I mean, right there. Trevor Story probably could have signed him for roughly the same contract that you signed Javi Baez to, and yeah, there you go. Now, I did mention that Baez has an opt-out after 2023. Probably the only thing I like. I'm just not a huge fan of this signing, and I know a lot of people are saying, like, oh, but Javier Baez, he steals a lot of bases. Well, how good are you if you... what good is stealing a base if you strike out at the plate? I'm just saying, I haven't paid much... I know I've said before I haven't paid much attention, so with all that said, I am going to kind of leave this one kind of open-ended. What do you guys think of it? Maybe you can kind of educate me a little better on this, but as I look at it now, I just don't like this deal. I think they could have did better, really. I guess I shouldn't say I don't like it, but I think they could have did better. I think Correa or Story just would have been better options. But whatever, it is what it is. I did read an article that was talking about how Javi Baez was basically the guy that AJ Hinch, Al Avila, and Chris Illich kind of all wanted. And, AJ Hinch had also kind of said, like, oh, I wanted him here, blah, blah, whatever. So, I guess that gives me a little hope, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, as I look at it now, I don't really like this signing, but I am open to if anyone has an opposing opinion than me, be sure to throw it in the comment section below. And the last thing I'd like to talk about would be the Detroit Red Wings. So the Red Wings are lighting it up. Nice set of wins. They've won their last 5 of 6. They unfortunately did lose last night to Boston. Not Boston. I'm sorry. Nashville. They lost in Nashville, not Boston. Oh my God. I got my notes written down about Boston. They actually got their 3,000th win against Boston. That's what it was. Wasn't that they lost. They beat Boston. It was their franchise's 3,000th win, which actually kind of surprised me. I guess I've just always thought the Red Wings have been around so long. I kind of figured they had already. I didn't know where they were at as far as like franchise wins. So it was kind of cool to get like an estimate on that. They have the most Stanley Cups of all American NHL franchises. So I always just thought that like. I always just assumed that maybe they had more. I don't know. It was just never something I looked into, but yeah, I kind of wanted to just mention that the Red Wings were absolutely lighting it up. They look absolutely astonishing this year. I gotta be honest, guys. I am a huge Red Wings fan. I've not been this excited in years. I mean, this is a young team. They look exciting. They look like they got a bright future ahead of them. I mean, it's all coming together. They look like a hell of a team, and yeah, I really can't wait to see where this goes. Lucas Raymond continues to absolutely tear it up. Mo Seider's still playing some good hockey, although he got injured last night against Nashville, and I haven't heard the status on that. So they do play tomorrow and Friday. Let me look at who they play tomorrow. Come on. There we go. Okay, so I'm pulling up the NHL tomorrow. They play the Blues tomorrow. They're in St. Louis, so that should be a good game. And then I believe they play Friday as well. Yeah, they play the Avalanche. Yes. Hell yeah. That'll be fun. So, St. Louis and Colorado, it's a little 2-game road trip. So, yeah, hopefully they keep this streak of stringing together some nice wins. Although yesterday they did lose, so let's hope they turn that around pretty quick. St. Louis and Colorado, I haven't seen much of them. I haven't watched any of their games, but their records, the records are pretty good. They got winning records, so, we'll see. The Red Wings look good, though, so that's all I do know. Anyway, guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap up this podcast for tonight. Well, actually, for the week. At least this edition. Yes. I'm going to wrap it up for this edition of CuJo's Corner. This one was a long one, almost an hour long, so got plenty to talk about. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it, guys. And until next time, I'm Justin Crumley. This is CuJo Productions saying, stay awesome.